Hey, welcome back to the episode Instagram podcast. I'm your host Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Yo, man, what's up?
Nothing much, chilling.
Yeah, you chilling. You looking good over there, chilling.
Thanks, dog. Big chilling. We big chilling.
Hey, this week I want to talk to you about all of the anime that's coming out, summer 2020.
All
and
five of them?
Go over a brief little preview of what each show's about and whether or not we're going to watch it. How's that sound? Good time?
Yeah, it sounds cool, man. It's something we do, I feel like, 4 times a year, so I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But I will say, usually these episodes last really long. We usually apologize at the beginning because, we get...
I'm so sorry. It's going to be another 13-hour episode.
It gets away from us because the most important part is us talking about ourselves for an hour, rambling. And then we talk about maybe anime for 20 minutes. But because for some reason, it makes sense. This season is a lot shorter. There isn't like 40 new episodes of anything to watch. So hopefully it's a shorter one.
Honestly, there are a lot of like sequel seasons of shows that we're not going to talk about because we don't watch.
Yeah.
Like my teen romantic comedy Snafu, Fire Force, ReZero. Something else I know is a big one right now. Can't remember what it is. Is Food Wars airing right now? Food Wars might be there.
I thought Food Wars was done. Or is that the manga that's done? I don't know. One of those is done.
I think it's the manga. I don't remember for sure.
Things
but
are
I remember
ending.
Hearing like recent stuff about. Anyways,
yeah. So we're gonna do the like you said, the preview episode. So it should be fun. I mean, hopefully we don't drag this on too long because I know you was a sleepy boy. You tired,
baby. I'm so ready to bedtime.
Yeah, bro. But before bedtime, why don't you tell me about yourself? How you doing, man? What you been up to?
I'm fine. I'm good.
Yeah.
I haven't been up to a whole lot, honestly. This past week, since this time we're recording on a Monday, I had one less day to do shit, and I didn't do much just in general throughout the week. I watched some TV, I watched some YouTube, I hung out, I had easy nights. But I did have a day that I've been planning for like a little bit now, where we just played Minecraft hardcore and had a super fun time. Made it all the way to the end. Took us about 8-ish hours, I would say. And 5 of us went to the dragon and all died. So it was a very successful time. And I had so much fun. I'm so ready to do it again. It was just incredible.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about this before the pod, but you want to specifically tell me about what Kurt did, right? Something happened to Kurt?
No, it's something that happened to Kurt, I guess.
Something happened to somebody that you want to tell me about.
So we played with a whole bunch of people.
Okay.
And throughout that time, we're constantly talking and making jokes and making small talk and whatever. You don't need to talk about the game the whole time, even though, if you die, then you're out of it. But the whole point of playing this with all of our friends is so that we can kind of catch up and goof off and make fun of each other and just have a good time, make dumb jokes. Like when we started off, we all gave ourselves names in the Discord. Somebody put their name as Big Cum. I think it was Kyle, so I went with Bigger Cum, and then with Biggest Cum, and it just like accumulated into a whole bunch of stuff. And we're like, if this person's playing, they would probably try to do something funny like Small Cum or something like that. So then it changed. And it was a whole thing. So anyways, get the idea that we're all immature, having a fun, goofy time together. So you never know what's going to happen, whether it's going to be a genuine connection or not. And so my homie Abe is just like, hey, Kurt. And Kurt says, yeah. Abe goes, so you're not from California. And like half of the group at least knows that Kurt grew up in Chico. He's like lived here forever and been friends with a few of us for like a long time. And we're all just quiet, like, where the fuck is this gonna go? What's Abe saying? And Kurt's like, no, I'm from Chico. And everyone's like, yeah, Kurt grew up in Chico, dude. And he's like, what? No, because like, I mean, I'm from Michigan and I don't sound like what you sound like. And we're like, what?
What? What is Abe? What is Abe talking about?
I don't know. But the way that he goes about that, he's just like, you're not from California, and all of us know what's going on. So Kurt's just like, the fuck are you talking about, dude? So and Kurt has this weird, like kind of, it's like not like a draw where, there's something very distinct. You're like, oh, it's a draw from like certain areas. but he has a very distinct way of talking that people have a hard time replicating. And it's something about like being in the back of the throat and also like nasally, but like a clear nasally voice. It's really weird. So he has this very unique, cool, interesting voice that is kind of just his own. But then I met his half brother, and his half brother kind of talks like him too. And then I was like, oh man, you guys sound a lot alike over like Discord or whatever. And they're like, yeah, people had a hard time figuring out who's who whenever we play games with like strangers and stuff. Like they don't remember which one of us is the other because we sound so similar. Even though they're half brothers that are like several years apart. So Abe just fucking asks,
I like how Abe just
assumed. Where the fuck are you from? Because you're not from Chico.
Because he's a funny voice.
Saying that, like, where were you born or whatever? And everyone's like, no, Kurt was born in Chico. And even like other people from Chico, like Josh, he's like, I wasn't born in Chico, but I grew up there since I was 4. So like, what do you want from me, man? Like, none of us care about how Kurt sounds, but the way that he asked, just, you're not from here. Fuck.
You're from somewhere else. Tell me where you're really from.
It's so good. It just, could you imagine somebody being like, Juan, you're not from here, and you get ready. You're like, where are we going? This is very sensitive. But for us, we're like, okay, this is a white guy asking another white guy.
I understand.
Like, what's happening
because
right now? I don't understand. All of us are just so confused.
Because of the racial implication of my name, and my ethnicity. It's funny though because I have had that situation. It usually leads to like a racist confrontation.
So it felt like it was going to get racist suddenly, and we're like, it's not though. It's impossible, right? Like, what's going to happen? It was the most bizarre way to phrase that.
I mean, I guess I got to sympathize with Kurt because fucking Abe's racist. Yeah, I've gotten hit with that. Like, where are you from or whatever? Like here. And they're like, no, where are you originally from? It's like, oh, I guess you got me. Technically, I wasn't born in Chico. I was born somewhere else in California. And they go, okay. And they give me like a stink eye. I was just like, what do you want? What are you trying to say? Yeah.
Oh man.
But I feel for Kurt. I did not know Abe was a racist. So it's good to know.
It turns out he just does not respect white people not from California or something. I don't really know.
But no, I would describe Kurt's voice as kind of nasally. Yeah, when you said like you're describing Kurt's voice, I can very clearly hear it in my head. I'm like, yeah, it does sound a little weird, like different, but and I couldn't pinpoint what it is, but he's for sure from here, so that's interesting.
Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like he's from anywhere in the United States, so maybe he was just like, oh, maybe he grew up in like Holland or some shit. He wound up coming here.
Like Abe's just like, yeah, English must be this guy's second language the way he is speaking.
Yeah, that's why all of us are just sitting there like, what? As we're all trying not to die, afraid for our lives.
Yeah,
you're not from California, and everyone has to full stop like what they're doing.
Are you
to prepare for whatever the fuck
in Minecraft? Do you play like the way? Is there a way where you play like you can only hear people that are around you, or like?
So a while ago, I found some ways to mod it and to just do a bunch of weird bullshit that makes it so you can only hear people around you. So we did that. It was a lot of work. It worked for everybody except for Kurt, and we eventually gave up trying to figure that out because it had already been like 2 hours, and we just wanted to get this shit going.
Wait, this last time you played, or the
no. This was a while ago. Yeah. So we're just sticking with regular old Discord. Everyone can hear each other
clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I remember one time you were telling me that there was this weird setup where like you could hear stuff, but it was only like in like whatever like your radius was. So if you got close enough, you could hear each other. If you ran away, like you couldn't hear each other. That's interesting.
It was
though.
Awesome, and it was super scary.
So because if that would have been the situation, it would have been like, Abe must have said it at the very beginning when you guys are all together, or Abe says it very loud around Kurt, and someone just there hearing, like from around a tree. You're like, what the fuck's going on here?
This was like 4 or 5 hours in where we all, were comfortable and chilling with each other and just chatting and whatnot. And him busting that out.
That's pretty good.
Forget it. It was fucked up, man. And honestly, that's the biggest stuff that I've been up to. I just watched Ice Cream Man, which is iDubbbz's documentary about Dax Flame, who is one of the first most popular YouTubers.
I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah, he was. I'm sure if you saw him, you would be like, "Oh, that fucking dude."
Dax Flame?
Dax, DAX. But
Boy.
yeah, I do recommend you check out Ice Cream Man. I thought it was really interesting. I really wanted to know more about it. He was a very popular YouTuber for a while, and then when 22 Jump Street came out, and 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street, he was in just small roles, and he was also in Project X.
Yeah. It says right here, Project X. Yeah, known for Project X, 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street. Yeah, as a actor and writer, apparently.
Well,
interesting.
Maybe he wrote his own lines. I don't really know what his whole deal is, but yeah, from his YouTube persona, he essentially he goes on to explain that he didn't tell any lies. He didn't make up any stories. All of the stories that he told were true, but he also embellished them in different ways. So he isn't willing to say that he was putting on a character or an act or anything like that because the stories were true. So he has like a really interesting way of thinking of things. Super genuine guy, really uncomfortable and awkward and goofy. I really, really liked the documentary. It was super interesting, and I hope that this dude makes it.
Was it on YouTube or?
Yep, YouTube.
Okay, cool. So maybe I'll check it out. That's funny. I've actually been on a little documentary kick myself. So
I thought you've mentioned them a few times. So I'm like, yeah, it's like an hour long. It's kind of fun. And then I just recently, like a couple hours ago, discovered that there's a Kingdom Hearts 2 randomizer that people speed run, and I'm like, how the fuck does this work? It works in a really weird way, but essentially all treasure chests give you different items, and they could be anything. So you could get like an end of the game weapon, or you can get like a kind of magic that you need, or an ability that helps you like fly and shit. So that's weird. It's interesting. It's kind of cool. I'm checking it out. A little speed run of it. Excited about whatever the fuck that is. And I also watched the speedrun of Mario Party.
Why do you say it like that?
Can you imagine a speedrun of Mario Party?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot what game you're talking about. You mean the one where you roll the dice, yeah?
Yeah.
Which one,
play
though?
Like a board
the first
game.
One?
No, the most recent one. Super Mario Party. I
Speedrun
think that's what
of
it's
it.
called.
Speedrun of it. I guess it'd be really... Are you trying to... Do you have like a normal sized map?
See, yeah, okay, you play a regular as, like nothing's modified about it.
You just go really fast. You just try to go as fast as you can.
Yeah,
and beat the record.
So
What's this?
I don't know exactly what the record is, but you're clearly trying to conceptualize it. You've played it.
Mm-hmm.
They use this map that it's like a jungle map where they're the big ol' swamps in the way, or womps, I can't remember what they are, and you need to like ask them to move, and then it like blocks off
and then
areas.
It closes. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And then there's like this boulder that chases you down this area, and it like pushes you back to the beginning.
Yeah, it's really Indiana Jones. Yeah,
Indiana Jones, hella small. So they use that map because it's 10 spaces around. So if you have a character like Donkey Kong that has special dice that have like a bunch of 10s and a bunch of 0s on that dice, you'll either not move or you'll go around to the same space, and you can make sure that nothing happens so it doesn't trigger any cutscenes or events or anything like that. No extra mini games, all that stuff. So the idea of it is to have as little fun as possible.
Yeah, no, I was wondering, like, does he play with computers or he plays with other people, and you guys all just...
He's got 4 controllers.
He's doing it by himself.
He's doing it alone. So he's playing these mini games, like, trying to get ties because it saves time if you get a tie animation instead of a win animation. Like, the worst thing you could do in the game is get a star because it takes 45 seconds to play a video of like, oh, you got the star, here you go, splash. Oh, time for us to move the star. The star was here, now it's over here. You could buy the star over here now. Yeah, you got the star. Let's go to our next turn. Like, I
have not been proclaimed. I'm not self-proclaimed. Someone has proclaimed me, specifically Kyle.
Yeah, as a speedrunner
as
yourself.
a speedrunning son of a bitch, which I'm not. I do really appreciate the fact that this guy's just like playing by himself, trying to do this as fast as he can, and he's like figured out. I mean, he's done the actual like the mental approach. Like, what's the science behind this? What is going to save me all those fucking frames? Right? Fucking cut these animations. I think it's so funny because like if I was thinking about it, I was just like, well, if he's playing with other people, I'd assume like just have one
guy up.
Yeah, one person win and then just have the other 3 people lose, or as quickly as possible. That way the thing can end. But if apparently the winning animation is longer than the tie animation, like who the fuck sits there and does that? Like, I gotta.
We don't want coins. We don't want stars. We want to avoid items at all costs. Don't play any mini games as much as you can.
I would like to see that. That sounds pretty fun.
I watched a little bit of it. I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah, I'm curious.
But yeah, it's on SGDQ's YouTube page. If anyone's interested in it, you could watch both of those kinds of speedruns that I just talked about on there, which is fucking nuts, dude. I'm so stoked about how people are still coming up with weird, dumb shit to do. Like
Mario Party. I was like,
fuck, game's been out for a year and a half.
I assume when you said Mario Party, I was like, oh, like a Mario game? I was like, wait, Mario Party.
Mario Party, dude. Why'd you say it like that? Oh, because you didn't listen.
Jesus, dude. Yeah. That's crazy. It's funny.
It's nuts. So I thought that was pretty good. I also, I know that over this past weekend, different streamers and people that, are of some kind of worth in the video game community, they were given free codes to play Fall Guys, which is this game that I've been insanely excited about ever since I think it was E3 last year.
Is that the run? Is that the one where like you're running or whatever, and you're like a bunch of bushy things and like it's like a battle royale kind of thing?
Battle royale wipeout game.
Yeah, dude, that's not out. I want to play that.
It comes out like in a month or so, or not in a month, in a week or so. So I mean, dude. So you and I'm gonna play the fuck out of it. But if you want to get it on computer and both of us can play together, I would love to. I feel like
that game. We talked about that game last New Year's. Like there's like when's it gonna come out?
Yeah,
like, and we're like, maybe we can play it for New Year's, and you're like, nope, it's not gonna be out by New Year's, and it's not. That's lame.
Fine. It's like August 6th or 8th or something like that. So anyways, a bunch of streamers and stuff got this game, and I watched it, and I knew as soon as I watched like a full round, I'm like only gonna play this game. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know. Fun. I'm gonna be addicted to it for sure. It's absolutely my style. It looks so much fun. All the costumes that you get are hella fun. I want to see more of the maps. As you go further, of course, there are different maps. And since it's hard to get that far, you have that drive of like, oh man, I want to be able to play this map again. And then you keep like trying to get further and further or whatever. So yeah, I'm really excited about when that comes out here. But the streamers that I was watching James and John from Funhouse, John Smith. And they talked about how they're planning on doing at some point a 24-hour podcast with like no access to media or anything like that, where it's just two dudes talking to each other for 24 hours. And I'm like, holy shit, like I like my friends a lot. And I have no idea how that would work. I mean, you would be forced to just talk to each other. And especially if it's a podcast, you have to like keep talking or whatever. Yeah, but also like have food and eat and whatever. But
I mean, I guess you don't have to keep talking. I guess some people could be like, well, this is the dark hour where we just like mindlessly keep playing, but it wouldn't be as entertaining. That's hard. 24 hours though.
Yeah, no. They're not playing anything.
Oh, they're just I thought they were gonna play Fall Guys, you said. And
No. This is while they were playing Fall Guys. They're not gonna play anything. They're just gonna talk. They're completely cut off from media.
That sounds horrible. I hate that.
Doesn't that sound crazy?
Yeah,
I mean, the idea of it is like, you want to go camping, but instead of, we have to build a tent, we have to like cook this food. You want to go like take a nap? You want to go hang out in the lake? It's like, nah, we're talking to each other for 24 hours.
Ugh. I don't know what I would...
somebody who I'm more introverted. I might be able to seem like I'm very like outspoken and very comfortable talking to strangers and whatnot. But because I'm really introverted, I feel like I might do well with this. I'm really good at talking to my friends. Like, we talk very casually, nonstop. I want to have the last word because I'm the important person, you know?
Yeah, but
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but can
24 hours.
Usually when we hang out and talk, we're also like doing something like
usually
like watching a movie or something. But I don't think I could do that for 24 hours. That sounds like a lot of work.
It does. I mean, even just with the podcast, like even before the podcast, because we're able to keep up like this conversation for the podcast without worrying about it, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like we have to be like, oh my God, please say something. It's like, no, we're able to talk at least for 2 hours.
But then when you think when we started hanging out a little bit before the podcast started, we like chilled for about 4 hours, we ate some tacos, and we're like, yeah, man, and it's fucking cool. And then chatted for like way too long. So I don't know. And the only reason we stopped is because we were like, we should probably not.
Yeah, you're like, it's getting really hot in this room. I feel like there's not enough oxygen anymore for us to be in here.
Exactly. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's the cool stuff that I've seen and been up to. I've also been watching more Adventure Time. Highly recommend enjoying that again because they are coming out with a new show on HBO Max.
Yeah, miniseries.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, they have the BMO stuff. I heard they're doing something with Marceline and
Marceline's new thing that's coming out. Yeah, Marceline and Bubblegum are doing like some weird princess adventure. It's called Obsidian something.
Yeah, I saw like the character design for a new character called like Glass Boy or something like that. I'm like, yeah, that boy's made out of glass.
There are a few glass folk. It's neat.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Hell yeah. I think that's all the super rad, cool, fun. What's going on with Chris things? Not a lot. Work's been chill. One last thing that I'm definitely going to end on and wanted to end on this. So my new coworker, my new assistant Emily, who I talked about just joining me last week. She's been talking a lot about Wendy's. Wendy's ads are getting to her. I guess Wendy's is pushing hard for breakfast. They have some new breakfast items or something. So she's been thinking about Wendy's really hard. She sent me 2 advertisements for Wendy's on Twitter while we were at work, like sitting and while I was working, she was doing whatever. She was looking at Wendy's ads, but she sent me 2 of them. Like, what's wrong with you? Your phone's going to get all fucked up and it's just going to show you a ton of fast food ads and like mostly Wendy's ads and shit. And she just holds her phone up to her mouth. She's like, Wendy's, 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 Wendy's. Trying to like get the algorithm to know she just wants to see those fucking Wendy's ads. And holy shit, dude. It's just like very quick. Wendy's, just ready to go. Lost my shit. That was one of the funniest things.
Dude, now I want Wendy's. Fuck.
It works, man. Yeah. It was
this episode brought to you by Wendy's.
I wish.
Guerrilla marketing.
If Wendy's sponsored us, I would be so goddamn hype. I would be like, yeah, man, this major national food chain just sponsored us.
Yeah, man, fucking spicy chicken sandwich. Sometimes I go no mayo or like light mayo, but I make them add pickles. And recently, I'll make those fuckers add jalapenos too.
Oh shit, look at you. So anyways, because she was so inspired by Wendy's, she decided that we should have once, the pandemic's over, we should have an event night where we just go to Wendy's. And I'm like, what about all the people at Villarisa? She's like, I mean, they could come too.
Like, they all go to Wendy's.
Which turned into a conversation about how we need to have every day of the week a new event about Wendy's. Started out with like 4 for Friday. You have Wendy's Wednesday where you could get anything on the menu. You're not just limited. My favorite one is Son of Baconator Sunday.
That's pretty good.
It's really stupid. So we just sat around at work like, I wonder what Wendy's item goes along with this day of the week.
That's pretty good, man.
It was so dumb. I loved it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's my Wendy's news, and now over to you. What have you been up to?
Well, okay, since you were talking about that little documentary you watched about that YouTuber.
It was really cool.
I finished The Last Dance on Netflix.
Oh, nice.
I only had 3 more episodes to go, which is still like almost 3 hours. It was good. I liked how it ended. I thought it was done really well. There was some Space Jam. There was a little bit of Space Jam. Not enough Space Jam for my taste. I wish
he was also in Space Jam. Look at the trailer for this movie.
It was a little bit more than that. Like they explained it he did Space Jam after the season of him coming back. They made the movie and stuff, but he like was talking to Warner Bros. And was like, "Hey, I really we need to train and get back into basketball shape. I can do this, but I need there to be time for me to train." Like, yeah, no problem. So he would like wake up, start shooting super early, take a 2-hour break for lunch, and instead of taking a break, he would just play basketball for 2 hours and then go back to shooting. And then after shooting, he would then like work out and then play a bunch of pickup game in this like giant dome with like a basketball court, full regulation basketball court that Warner Brothers built for him in the lot. And then he just invited like a bunch of professionals to come play with him, like just the people like the top of the league to come play with him all summer. And I was like, that's fucking wild. He's like, people were like, yeah, really good basketball games. There's like no refs. You had to call your own fouls. Like, oh my God, look at these fucking monsters just going up and down the court. So there's a little bit of Space Jam, but not too much Space Jam. I would have preferred a Space Jam centric documentary, but it's okay. It was mostly about just his 6 championship rings, which who the fuck cares about? But it was cool. I was talking to my brother-in-law about it, and he said he said it was hard to follow. He's just like, yeah, because it kept like jumping back in time. It would go to like his rookie year, and then they would talk up the Last Dance is like them going for their last championship. So that was what it really focused on, and they would talk about like the preseason and like the playoffs, and like so it broke that down. But then it would also bump back to like seeing his other championships, and he goes like, yeah, man, I was just really lost and confused. Like they kept jumping back in time. It's like, yeah, but every time they jump back in time, they would visually show you on a timeline. Like they would like scrub to the left and then to show you like it is now 1980 or whatever. And then like, okay, now it is 1996.
So they made it very
clear that they were switching. Yeah. So if you weren't paying attention, you're like, what's he talking about? Steve Kerr has won championships or whatever. But because all this shit happens within a rarely
back then.
Yeah, but since this shit happens within like maybe 10 years, like all of this stuff happens, you know, eventually they start getting really close. Like they starts like you start from here and here and you work your way in. Eventually you're going to get to like a really close time in the, or it's more like it works this way. So it's like the time goes from left to right and then like it catches up like this, if that makes sense. I'm visually, to you it might make sense, not to people who are listening to the podcast. Anyways, I enjoyed it. I thought it was very well done. But I kind of got like an itch to watch more documentaries. There's another documentary about the guy who did who made what's the name of the green frog that the neo-Nazis took over?
Oh, Pepe. Yeah.
There's a documentary about the guy who first created that thing. And he's just like, yeah, he goes like, it was just like a cartoon. It was like a comic strip and it became this horrible thing. I was like, so that's supposed to come out pretty soon. I'm excited to watch that.
And now it's back to just like, it's just been a meme. I don't know. Yeah. Anybody can use memes, but then when they're like, oh, this is like what we're going to use for this thing. I don't know. And then it changes back into a meme again. Like,
yeah. So I'm super excited to watch that one whenever it comes out, just because like that would be wild. Yeah. Because he just made this lovable character or whatever. And then these people used it for their own gain. And now like maybe people blame him. Like, he's like, that's not what I intended it for, you know? And so
that's kind of the 4chan way, I think, as well. Because like, 4chan, I don't know if you know this, but 4chan's mascot is Yotsuba.
Yeah, we've talked about that. Yeah. The little girl from the anime that's like a robot or some shit like that. Or manga, right?
Yeah, who's not at all a robot.
I thought she was a robot.
No, she's just a child. She's just a child, and she has a dad that adopted her.
Okay, well, the dad's a robot. Anyways.
No, it's a beautiful manga. Everyone should go read it right now.
I also watched like a mini documentary. It's like 25, almost maybe 30 minutes about Eiffel 65, the guy that did the I'm Blue. It was really interesting because it was like they talked about how the song came to be and how they all came together, because they weren't really a band. They just all kind of worked at a like a studio, and they all kind of worked there, and they made music for this company that was like supposed to be like party music and stuff. So like they would all kind of have their own little studio and stuff, and apparently the walls weren't soundproof. So if you were quiet, you could kind of hear what somebody else was recording, and so you just kind of like pop over and then you just collab and stuff. And so the first song was made with these two people, and they just kind of threw it out there, and no one really cared about it. And then a couple months later, like another guy came in, and he's just like, oh, hey, do you mind if like I remix it? He was a DJ. The other two guys, one was a pianist, the other guy was like a vocalist, and that's how they did it. The guy's like, hey, I'm a DJ. He's like, you mind if I like throw some shit on that? He's like, yeah, sure. So he did some stuff, and then they threw it out there again, and then no one fucking cared. And then maybe almost a year and a half went by, and then the shit blew up. And then within a week of the song like hitting the charts, like they were out in the world like performing the show live, and like so. It was interesting to see them like, yeah, man, it just kind of happened. And yep. And they're super Italian, except for the singer who actually he's from the Bronx or whatever. And then he moved to Italy when he was, I don't know, in his like a 9 or something like that, like to just live there. And so when people like heard him sing, they're like, yo, do you speak English? He's like, yeah. He's like, wow, you have an amazing accent. He's just like, well, yeah, I'm not from here, but he's also like kind of Italian kind of thing. It was great. It was really fun to see like a little piece of history. So I remember that song very vividly, growing up.
Oh yeah. It was everywhere.
Yeah, it was fucking great. So that was cool. I got to see something about them. And then actually right before we started recording, another podcast I listened to, we're talking about this girl who was doing like a history of the bronies or whatever. And I was just like, I would love I would love to learn about this. So I was watching a little bit of that, and she's just like,
I didn't know if I wanted to check that out or not. I don't know, because like there are a lot of brony things out there, and I don't get the brony culture.
Mm-hmm.
Try to see things from every perspective, and they're just fans of something. But I feel like there's something else there that I'm not aware of. Like,
I'm not very clued into it either. I know it's a thing. I just remember being like, that's fucking dumb that they like this, but from what I heard, I guess maybe brony culture is dying or is dead or something like that. And so this girl's just done this, like, yeah, she was a huge My Little Pony. She was just a huge horse fan growing up. And so she's like, oh, so she saw the birth of the bronies, and like, she's like, and how it maybe changed the My Little Pony culture. Right.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is interesting, because she was there from the start, because she was like in the forums before even forums were a thing for like just My Little Pony before bronies showed up. So right. I'm down to learn about them, just because I was like, I'm kind of curious to see what the deal is. And it's not like it's done amazing. The production value is amazing. She's just like looking at the camera and just kind of talking about it. I was like, wow, but she seems very knowledgeable about what she's talking about. Like I don't know. So I've been watching that. Maybe I'll finish it later. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna like a documentary kind of kick. There's other documentaries that I think that popped up on my like Instagram. Like one's about board games, one's about Pepe, one's about the Cuphead. That's coming up. They're making the show, and like it's a documentary about making the show they're going to be making for Netflix. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I want to keep watching.
So I didn't bring this up because I wasn't sure if you would or not. But did you watch the Scott Pilgrim script reading?
I did not know.
Oh man, I do recommend that. It's a pretty good time. Like
who is it? Like is it the actual cast, or is it like the
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the actual cast getting together. I think they did it for or on Entertainment Weekly's YouTube channel. You could watch it. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a lot of the same old cast, and it's got Edgar Wright and the screenplay writer, and it's got all different kinds of people in there. Brian Lee O'Malley was drawing pictures while they were doing readings for donations for their charity and whatnot. Yeah, it was really fun, really cool to watch. If you like Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, I do. What's the premise? Is it like a continuation? Is it like
no? This is just them reading the script.
Oh, okay. They're just reading the script. Okay, of the movie. Okay.
Yeah, since it's been 10 years since it came out.
That's crazy.
For their 10-year anniversary.
That's cool. That's super dope. Maybe I will check that out. I did really like that movie. I feel like it didn't get as much credit as it should have. Like I feel like more people should love that shit. So
yeah, it's weird going into it, and then you're like, Anna Kendrick, she was around at that time and just becoming super popular off of Twilight and whatnot. Mm-hmm. She's a part of that, so I'm surprised that there wasn't some overlap from like big Twilight fans that wanted to go see her in something else. Aubrey Plaza, very, very new to the scene. Then you have Michael Cera, which I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of Michael Cera, but I've always liked him. I always thought he does a great job. And then Mary Elizabeth Winstead, it's one of her first like bigger movies and whatnot. Mm-hmm. You even have fucking Captain America's in it, dude.
Yeah, Chris Evans, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Evans is in it.
Yeah,
you got lots of people there. So they weren't able to get everybody back for the reading, They didn't get Young Neil and Como.
Young Neil's the best.
Young Neil's pretty dope, but they had Knives and Kim Pine and Roxy and lots of good little characters that you wouldn't exactly expect. Matthew Patel.
Oh shit! It's the pirate dude, right?
Yeah, it's the Indian hipster guy
Yeah.
that shoots in through the roof, and then he has his like demon hipster chicks, and he's singing a song and dance thing, all Bollywood style. Really rad. So he was participating in it, and then they did have Gideon Graves. They had just everyone that kind of needed to be there, and got rid of some smaller side characters and whatnot.
Isn't Brie Larson also in that?
She's the only one that didn't make it.
Yeah, bummer.
She was Envy Adams. So instead Scott's. Oh, they also didn't have what's his name? Something with a K. Culkin.
Oh, the bassist?
No. Macaulay Culkin's brother. Kieran Culkin.
Was it?
They didn't have him. His roommate Wallace.
His roommate. That's
Yeah.
Real talk. Wallace is a really good character.
Wallace is fucking amazing, but the dude, of course, reading it, who did the script and whatnot, he crushed it as Wallace. I was like, damn, this guy could have been Wallace too. You're gonna have a fun time.
Is that Macaulay Culkin's brother?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they for sure look alike. Now that you say it, I was like, wow, that's fucking wild. Yeah, that's a good movie. Maybe you know what? Fuck it. Maybe I'll just watch the movie and not watch the live script reading.
Well, it was interesting because as a big fan of the movie who's seen it several times in the past 10 years, there are definitely some lines that I remember distinctly because of how awkwardly or like the timing of things were just really funny. So it's interesting to see the script reading being a little bit more like fast-paced and serious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really good. It's really fun. They did a pretty solid job. So I do recommend it, but I also do think you should rewatch the movie because there are so many cool visual effects because it's an Edgar Wright movie. Anyways, I'm done talking about Scott Pilgrim. I thought you might have watched it, so sorry to interrupt you.
Okay. What else? Okay, so something else I did this week was my wife's sister.
Classic.
She, her dog, his name's Theo. He's turned 15 years old. 15 human years.
That's longer than I've been alive.
Dude, he's old as fuck. And I remember like not really seeing it, because like when I first started dating Cera, like, yeah, I saw Theo and he was like fine. But like in this last year, I really like can see the age on him. Like he's really thin, he walks a lot slower. He's like his teeth are missing. I'm like, whoa, bro, like you ain't got long for this world, my guy. But he's a good dog, and to celebrate his like birthday, they threw him a little quinceañera, and Bella was invited, and they had like steaks for the dogs and like peanut butter cakes for the dogs, and it was a good time. We just kind of went over, took his little videos, and they ate the shit out of their fucking steaks, and then ate the fuck out of their cake. Like Theo's old, so he's like licking his cake, and Bella's just like scarfing it down like a monster. I was like, yo, Bella, settle down, like come on, be cool, we're here as guests. So that was fun. Just a fun thing to do. I think the last like cool thing that happened this week was which just happened today. Cera gave me my 1 year wedding anniversary. Our wedding anniversary was 2 weeks ago, something like that, on the 13th.
But she gave you your gift finally.
Yeah, but both of our gifts were like running behind just because of like COVID stuff. I'm assuming that's what I thought. Mine was at least COVID stuff, like just getting something shipped was taking forever. And Cera said that her thing was just also just lagging behind. So I was like, okay, no big deal. Like they'll be a little late, but we're trying to do like the anniversary thing where like you go through the years and it's like first year's paper, second year's cotton, third year's, kind of like that. That way we don't just end up buying each other like gold rings every fucking year. I feel like it's very.
Why is that the go-to?
Well, no, like the thing it's a very cautious thing to be like, okay, let's buy each other, get each other things that are not super precious in the sense of like I could just default to buying her jewelry, right? But then I'd be spending a lot of money, especially near our like first years of being married, where like I shouldn't be spending a lot of money if I don't have it, which I don't have. So I think the idea of being like, cool, paper, it's like, oh, dope, paper can be anything, So like I got her this poster that had like the night sky that on the day that we got married or whatever. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It's made out of paper. Problem solved. Boom. Got her that. But she got me I guess she wrote it, and then she had my friend Tim draw a comic book for our 1-year anniversary, and it's like a story of of me playing D&D and then getting sucked into the world, and then being my character, kind of my character, being a gnome character, and then entering a cartwheel competition, which is very apropos for the type of D&D that we played, which is very nonsensical. And then like you show up and she shows up, and Tim put himself in the story too, because like, you know, he drew it. So it was really fun. It's really short. It's like maybe 10 pages, you know, like I think maybe 4 frames a page at the most. But it was really cool. You know, she wrote it all and then he drew it. So they had to work together. And obviously it's not like a thing you can just instantly make. So it took Tim a little bit longer than he thought it would. Or at least Cera thought it would take him, because she's like, I'll give him like a month and a half. And it's like, it took almost 2 months to get it done. So it was really cool. I remember for like one of, I think Sierra's earlier birthdays, I don't even think we were dating, I also made her a comic book. Like I drew it when we were in high school and stuff. So I think it was really nice of her to get like something like that for me. And I'm glad she didn't draw it, because she's not the best artist, but it's like, it's the thought that counts. So yeah, so that was really cool. I really appreciated it. And that's it, man. That's been the week. You know, besides that, obviously, you know, still, you know, going to school, doing animations and stuff. I was a little stressed out last week with my splining. I got some notes, which is good. And then like I hit the notes, and then I sent an update. And then I was like, this last night I sent an update to her like around 1. I was like, this should be fine. I'll have an update by the morning. So then I go downstairs and come back upstairs, and like within 20 minutes I had like another email, and she's like, here, hit these things. I was like, like dope. Like I'm glad that she's on top of her shit. Yeah. And then she's not just like letting me like fall to the wayside. So yeah, so, and I feel good. I'm glad. It's always nice to like get fresh eyes on something, especially from someone who knows what they're doing. And when you've hit a block, and like I don't like you look at it and like I see the same thing over and over, and then to have someone check it out and be like, oh yeah, what the fuck's going on here? And I go, what is going on there? Why didn't I see that kind of stuff? So that's always nice. Besides that, man, just fucking chilling, trying to stay cool because it's fucking hot out here. You been watching any anime?
Yeah, I've watched an anime. No, I almost went super fucking hard on anime last night, like yesterday, but I decided to go super hard on Adventure Time and watch like a full season of it instead. But I almost watched School Live.
Wow. Have you seen that before?
I think that's the name of it.
Is that the zombie one?
School Days? I don't know. I'll be right back. Gotta look it up on the internet.
Which one is it?
It's the zombie one, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's the zombie one.
It's the one.
Yeah, I think it's...
I just don't remember...
I think it's School Live. Yeah, because there's another show called Love Live, and it's not that show.
I do know that, but there's another show called School Days.
It's not that one.
So it's not that one. No. So yeah, School Live. I almost watched that.
Did you ever finish it? Because I know you had watched it a bit, but okay.
I watched, I think, 2 episodes originally.
I think I watched like 2 also. Maybe 3 after you told me, hey, dude, you got to check it out. I was like, this is kind of weird.
All you need is 1 episode, realistically, to figure out what the show is. But I almost went hard on that. And then I didn't. So maybe I will next week, but maybe not. I don't know.
I watched another episode of Wacky Races. What's it actually called?
A Party Ranman.
Yeah. So they took a break with, the whole, COVID stuff, which makes sense. But they've started up again, I think. So I went to go watch episode 4, which was weird though. When I started playing it, it said episode 5 on it. And I was like, this feels like this feels like a natural progression from episode 3 or whatever, So I was like, I don't think I missed an episode, and I was like, I don't know, I don't fucking care. But it's I don't feel like I missed anything. It was good. It's still like the boys are getting ready for the race. In this episode, we see more of like the Chinese mechanic chick. She's made her way to like get a race with someone who's an actual like race car driver on the track. Oh, and cool. She I guess the pit boss allows the race to happen, but he gives him like a really shitty like
take the
car,
shitty vehicle.
Yeah, take the shitty car to drive. Like, I'm not going to give an amateur an actual good racing car that they're going to fuck up, because they're very sexist and they think that because she's a woman she can't drive. So she gets it fixed, not by our main character boy, because the main character boy wants to like do a bunch of fucking modifications to it. And she's like, no, I just want it to run normally, because I don't want them to say that I won because I got it souped up on to say I won because I'm an actual driver. So she got the other boy, the pretty boy with the blonde hair that has the Vespa now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He got his squad to fix the car for them. They're like, yeah, we just need it to run, efficiently. And they're like, yeah,
run
sure,
regular.
Yeah, run normal. You don't have to soup it up. So she has a race with this dude, and she's just being a smarter racer, and like she's gonna win because he's too aggressive. He's worn out his tires, so she's behind almost the entire race except for the very beginning where she gets like kind of a jump, and then like she turns the last corner and she's gonna win, but then this guy like then nudges her and hits her with his car because he's just like, fuck you, I can't lose to a girl. So then he wins and she doesn't like crash. She's kind of like, she's able to get the car in control, but she loses, and she's like running up to the dude about to like punch him in the face because she's so fucking mad. And instead the pit boss, this fucking giant, he just boom bashes the dad. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? He's like, you're lucky there wasn't a car accident. If there was a car accident, you would have been fired. So get the fuck out of my sight. And she's just like, oh my God, why did you do that? She's just like, you know what? Like, most people, if they would have gotten bumped, like that would have hit the brakes, would have slammed on the brakes, and that would have for sure thrown you into the wall, and you would have like had a massive car accident. Like, but instead you did what an actual capable driver would do, which is step on the gas to regain control of the car. It's like, you are for sure a driver. It's like, but in the world we live in, like no one's gonna, like most drivers are men's, and people that come watch the races are men, and they like to like project themselves on the racers. So even if you did come and race for me here at the track, like no one would be happy that you're winning, because like they'd be like, women shouldn't be racing. It's like, so I'm sorry, like you can't be a race car driver here. And she's like, oh, I understand. But then he then gifts her the car that was like super shitty. He's like, hey, you can have that car and instead be a part of this Trans-America race. That every.
You can go hang out with the other guys from the other episodes.
Yeah. He's like, so she's got her way into the race, and she's like, absolutely. And he's told her like, hey, like, I don't think you can win. Like, he was pretty honest, like, I don't know if you could win. Like, but if you somehow manage to be the first person to check in at the first at the first checkpoint, that would turn a lot of heads, and people would like maybe see that like women are capable drivers. Like, and so that's kind of her mission now, to be like the first. So now people, yeah. and then the other mechanics that were there kind of saw, what the shitty other driver did, and they all like offered to help fix her car and like modify it so it's actually can travel like across the nation and not just like be like a shitty, like fucking spare car that they have. So it was a really good episode. Like, I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I'm super glad the show is back, and hopefully it continues, just kind of being itself. And I'm really excited to see where it goes. So yeah, that was one anime that I got to watch this week. I was going to watch, what's it called? The Digimon, but I didn't get around to it. Instead, I started watching a little bit of Gravity Falls. So just like you, I was like, let's watch this Western animation instead. That good.
Whatever, man. If it's good, it's good.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. If that's it for anime, do you want to start talking about the news?
I would love to. So Uzumaki is getting its anime adaptation, as a lot of people might know. It's going to be on Adult Swim, but it's being delayed until 2021. Those of you that don't know what Uzumaki is, Uzumaki's anime, he is the dude who makes all of the like really popular horror manga, like the Holes and Spiral and a whole bunch more.
The Junji Ito, right?
Yeah, Junji Ito. So yeah, this is going to be a specific story, Uzumaki,
which is the Spiral story, which is like very, like, feel like very popular. People like, even if you don't know, you've probably seen the visuals of just like this chick with the big like swirl in her face or whatever. It's like very scary. Yeah, at least freaky. Disturbing looking. Yeah, I'm excited to see this. It's kind of
like scary stories to tell in the dark, kind of scary, where it's like surrealist, freaky. So yeah, very excited to see this. Bummer it's delayed, but I'm sure that it's delayed for a good reason. Mm-hmm. Because the last Junji Ito shit we got, Junji Ito Collection, that's a big pass. You never need to see that.
But I think a lot of that was just like style. Like I didn't like the way it looked, honestly, more than anything, because the stories are still pretty cool. Some of them are more entertaining than others. And I'm not going to say I'm a huge horror fan. I think you might like horror more than I do, but I think horror is great. I think especially when it's done well. So I'm excited
if it's done well. Yeah,
I'm excited to watch this Spiral or Uzumaki whenever it gets out. I mean, it sucks we have to wait, but I feel like we're waiting for a lot of stuff nowadays, anyways. So it's just kind of become the new normal. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We're okay with being patient.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, Crunchyroll and Adult Swim announced a new original called Fena, Pirate Princess. It's an anime coming out in 2021. And people are already pointing out Fena, Pirate Princess, is a lot like Xena, Warrior Princess. You know?
Whoa, Xena. Yeah.
Saying.
They do kind of sound the same.
We'll see. But yeah, pretty excited about that. There have been like key visuals going out around about it. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm looking at some visuals now.
About it.
It does look interesting. So, okay.
That's it, man. That's all the news I got. I'm out. I got nothing. I'm
all right.
beat.
Well, if that's all the news we got, let's actually get into this week's topic, which is the Summer Anime Preview 2020.
Yeah, we're going to tell you a little bit about each show that's airing this summer that's a new series, and we're not talking about the continuing series because we already reviewed those. The Spring Anime 2020, but we will continue to talk about the shows that we're watching, like Appare Ranman, Digimon, what the fuck is it called? Balance Unlimited, whatever the fuck that one's called.
Detective Balance Limited, yes.
Millionaire Detective Balance Unlimited.
Why does it have such a hard name to remember?
Maybe, I don't know, but we got there. So we're watching a few that are kind of lagging over to this season from last. Those are the ones we're watching. Now, let's talk about Funimation starting. So Funimation has 4 shows, and then Crunchyroll has about like 8 shows.
And then High Dive and Amazon seem to be really slumping, and they didn't seem to have anything. And Hulu, yeah. I don't think they had anything special, so...
No. So, oh well, whatever.
Yeah.
So first off, let's talk about Lapis Relights. It's made by the studio Yokohama Animation Club, and this is actually an original story. Now, when I first saw what this show was going to be, I was like, all right, yeah, we got magic, witch folk, and maybe it's an idol show. Let's see. Mm-hmm. And by the end of the first episode, I was like, it has enough here. I'm going to keep checking it out. I'm going to keep watching it. So I actually do like it. I've seen a few episodes of this so far, and I think that it is growing in the world that it creates.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it has its like strong points or whatever, and it's like I didn't know if it was going to be an idol show because that first episode does have that segment of like singing, and I was like, oh, is this kind of, are we leaning heavily on singing? So I don't know if that's the deal.
That's the deal.
Okay, so when I was watching, I was like, oh, it kind of reminds me of it's a girls' school for witches. So kind of like, oh, it's like Harry Potter, Hogwartsy, right? Yeah. And the main character is some sort of nobility, and she gets put in a group of, other witches that are called Lapises. It's like, so even in the first, because I only watched the one episode, like even in the first episode, it does a really good job of like being like, this is what the story is, this is the deal. Come on.
It's got a really big world. We'll learn more about it.
And, and I guess the big crux is that the Lapis is like the lowest ranking of those type of witches in the school. And that if you fail and pass together, so if the girls fail again this year, all of them get expelled together. And she just got there. So it's like, oh my God, no. So I think there's like, for sure, like some stuff there. I don't know if I'm going to watch it. I did like things in it. Like I really liked the way they did magic. They like did a bunch of different types of magic.
They whistle with their magic. Like,
yeah. But I enjoyed when they were like shooting, like firing, like, they were
shooting
bows.
Arrows.
And then they also had like this weird like game they were playing. Like it was like like a soccer mashup of like volleyball kind of thing.
If it's the same thing I'm thinking of, it's dodgeball. It's essentially dodgeball with a weird like ring setup.
Yeah, it looked really cool.
There's an episode about that already. It was a fun episode.
Maybe I'd watch that episode. And there's also the bit where like they're the curriculum in the school is very lax. Like it's like you study what you want to study, and I was just like,
a little bit.
Man, okay. But I think math and algebra, like, history, very important. I think those should also be a part of it. But I did like the class, like the class when they were like making potions and stuff. I was like, oh, this is really cool. So there's a lot of cool stuff in this show, I think.
It looks good.
It does look good.
Let me be very clear. I probably wouldn't be into this if it didn't look good.
I think another deterrent for me from not wanting to watch the show really is it has a really big cast. It looks like there's like
a huge cast. It's slowly introducing characters,
yeah,
and kind of telling what they're about. You quickly get to learn like, oh, this person uses like different kinds of magic. Oh, this person's from this background, and you're learning a little bit more about it with each passing episode, which is pretty cool. that first episode does a really good job at establishing that there's going to be so much shit going on, and to continue from there, it really keeps adding on to what you know without it feeling intimidating. It's pretty solid. Like, we know that witches can whistle magic. And then we later learned that you could actually recite magic too. You could recite from tome books, and then things will happen. So yeah, while they're playing that dodgeball type game, they're allowed to do magic, but they're only allowed to cast one spell, or they're only allowed to do one kind of magic, rather, is what they're saying. So this chick with like a book of tomes or whatever uses her spell, and it's a shitty one, and then goes and tries to use another one, and then gets like a foul for using two different kinds
spells.
of magic. She's like, it's from the same book though. And they're like, we understand, we're not gonna take anything away from you for that, but
no point deductions.
You have to use that first one that you used. So she gets kind of fucked over in that way, and they have to overcome it. And yeah, you get to see the different kinds of magic the different characters have to like buff each other, and just to emphasize whatever particular thing they're doing in an interesting way, not just in a, we just have to use some kind of magic here. It's like, no, we're going to use a cool kind of magic that's going to change the way that we're doing what we're doing now.
I really like when shows kind of go the extra mile to build things inside their world and then give the shit rules and stuff. Like I always kind of think about Legend of Korra when they did like the pro bending. I remember watching a specific like short videos, like 2-3 minutes, of the people, like the creator of the show is like explaining the rules of pro bending.
Yeah, they're like actual rules,
the regulations and stuff. Like, oh, that's super fucking cool, because like there's this whole giant show going on, and then on top of that, they had to create this sport inside of it that has like, all right, this is a penalty box, this is a foul, this is how you deal with the draw. And I was like, you know, you get points. Like I was like, oh my god. So like, I think it's really cool that this show is like, it's dodgeball, but there's rules. It's not just like use your strongest spell or whatever to, you know, it's like there's like, I think that's great. I think that's why I can tell cool. This show is for sure. It's something. It's got its merits. Like I said, I don't know. It's for me. I know that when the show started, then the intro happened, and like in the middle, I was like, is that the end of the show? And then I see like a line of like 10 different girls, like
oh my god,
all of them like in like white different blouses. I'm just like, oh fuck that. That's way too many characters. I can't do this. So I might pass unless I might come back to it unless if you can tell me like it gets better, or
I don't know if
there's nothing else.
Be a show for you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I'm enjoying it, but it's also not one that I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, another episode of this? Yeah, it's just like, it's a good time. It's a good time. You should check it out.
All right.
Next up.
One. Yeah.
Super Hxeros is how they were pronouncing it in Anime Expo. It's superheroes with an X before the E. Made by the studio Project Number 9. It's based off of a manga. And let me tell you, I have been waiting for Power Rangers to get sexy for years, and we finally did it.
My notes say, sexy Power Rangers. That's like the first 3 words. Like
that. Honestly, you guys, if you are looking for way over the top, just like erotica, but it's all Power Rangers, you got it. Yeah. I don't feel like I need to say anything more about the show, because it's not for me, and I don't know how to give an honest, like... review other than people out there are definitely gonna like this, but
this was my favorite show of the season.
This was the show of the season.
No.
Instant Ramen Podcast.
It's favorite show season. No, so the show just kind of boils down to aliens come to Earth, and they're stealing people's H power, which is just their horniness, and it's gonna lead to maybe humans not being able to repopulate. And then there's just like, oh my god, that's the worst. And then there's just like a group of teens that use their horny powers to punch the fuck out of them and kill them, and then it just removes their clothes. I was like, oh, this show's ecchi as fuck. I get it. I totally understand who it's for.
Like, as soon as it happened, I was like, okay,
yeah.
Done.
And
I get
it.
Like
like I love how we have the crux of like the main character, dealing with this girl who doesn't like him anymore, and she's just like, when we find out that her horniness is just beyond like the normal human level, I go, all right, settle down, anime. What are you doing? The show's fine. It's not like
it's beyond like human capacity.
Yeah.
Well, so stupid.
Well, it's crazy because she was like, so I'm watching because like I'm trying to watch the show and be super impartial and try to be like, just try to try to get and enjoy it for what it is. I'm just like, so I'm sitting there be like, she must have gotten zapped and now she's just like anti-horny. So she's just a total bitch, you know? And then we get a flashback to finding out that she was being zapped by one of these monsters, and the monster's just like, holy shit, this 9-year-old girl has so much erotic powers in her that no normal monster like myself could absorb
and that's
her.
The shit where I'm like, all right, guys, look, man. Hey,
and she's like,
man, I was talking to my coworkers today and I was like explaining the whole anytime that pedophilia comes up in our podcast, it's always like
it's a good episode. Yeah.
Anyways, I feel like this show got really creepy suddenly. Like, you stick it out where it's like, yeah, these two kids, they're holding hands or whatever, and their fucking horny energy is going out of control.
Oh, okay.
These
I was just about
kids
to talk
are doing
about that.
sexy shit, and I was not okay with that.
No, they're holding hands, and she's just like, you can keep holding my hand, and they interlock fingers, and she just like comes so fucking hard that she's able to then just blast the fuck out of this monster, kill it, and then here's the best part. So the first episode, it's just the two characters, and then at the very end, they're naked. They're just because their clothes ripped off, and then 4 other girls show up, or 3 other girls show up, and they're like, here's some spare clothes, and they're all wearing different colors. I'm like, oh shit, it's the Power Rangers, it's the pink one, it's the red one, it's the yellow one, that's the purple one, and that's like, oh man, this show's great. I'm not watching it. It's for sure like a pass. I understand who it's for, and it's not for me. But yeah, it's supposed to be funny if you find humor in this, and if you like the etchiness, then check it out. This is for sure for you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really popular show, honestly. I might be totally wrong, though. Another show that I have no idea how successful it's going to be, Deca-dence from the studio Nut. It's an original show.
Yeah, I did see that, Studio Nut.
Yeah.
Can I say I'm in this one. I like this show.
I don't know how I feel about this show, but I'm not gonna watch it, and I'm glad that you are.
Yeah. I'm for sure about it. It's weird. It's like a weird show. It starts off with this like, I'm sorry, but so
it's kind of a flashback.
Yeah. It starts off with like these humans on a planet, and they're being attacked by these monsters, and you think it's Earth. At least I thought it was Earth. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you don't know.
And we see the main character. She's a little girl, and like she gets attacked by one of these bugs or whatever, and like loses her arm, and her dad dies. And then we get.
I honestly was just thinking about Jurassic Park a lot during that.
Yeah,
just because of the Jeep, man.
Yeah,
the whole Jeep aspect of it, and giant bugs. Sure, that could just be a giant dinosaur that's gonna hurt you.
And then
it popped off right away, and I was not expecting that.
Yeah, and you think that when it popped off right away, I was just like, this doesn't actually look that great. So I was just like, what am I watching, And then we get to like, it flash forwards to like the present, and we find out that the girl lives in this like moving city, kind of like, Immortal Engines or whatever, or if you ever saw that, where it's just like these giant moving fucking cities. Bases. Yeah. And she's an amputee now. She has like a prosthetic arm, and she's graduated from some sort of school, and she wants to become a tanker, which her dad was. And they're like, sorry, you can't. You're missing an arm. They're not going to let you be a tanker. You can like repair the armor. And so she gets her job, and she's like has to scrub shit off the side of the thing. And she meets her boss, and I'm like, in the world around it's just like it's very vague. It's not really explained what it is. And at one point, we get to see them like talking about how they live in this city, and the humans seem to work for someone else. And then there's just aliens there. And there's like, I'm like, are they in charge? So I'm not even sure what the show's about. But
it had a lot of world building.
The thing that sold me on it was the very end, because like there's a huge fight sequence. Like people are flying in the air and like killing monsters and like absorbing their goo, I'm assuming, to keep flying. But then, like, they open up so there's an even bigger monster that's coming after them, and they stop the building that's moving. They open it up. I'm like, oh, cool, fucking hyper beam, plasma cannon. Something's going to come out. No, it's a giant fucking rocket fist that punches the monster away. And I was just like, all right, I want to watch this show because I have no idea what's going on, but I'm actually really entertained. So yeah, I'm going to watch that, and I'll let you know if I think it's worth at least you give it another shot. But I'm enjoying it for what it is. It's not the prettiest show. I don't think it's animated amazingly, but there's a lot of like a world building aspect, and I got a lot of questions. I'd like to see where it goes. And I like the main character. She's like not a total idiot or like a whiny bitch. She's just like okay, cool. She has a drive and a motivation to do something, and she's gonna try to do it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm on board. I'm tired of seeing characters be like the weakest, frailest shit, or being like the super strongest stuff. Like, just give me like a normalish person, I guess.
So by the end of the first episode, we had two main characters. We had our main character girl and her boss.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't care for the boss at all. With his decisions that he made throughout it, I felt like, yeah, they were trying to show that he's like gruff and pretending to be more reserved, and then he's actually a big old softy, and he just has this rough exterior. But what I came away with was he acts so like rough that he puts other people in danger and doesn't respect them, and I just came off of that really not liking him, and I didn't like that our main character was able to get through to him because he was such an asshole.
I think he's also some sort of like assassin or something, or like a cyborg.
He's got stuff going on, but
it's not clear what he is. That's what the thing is. Like, it's like, I'm in it. I'm in it.
Yeah, just saying the reason that I'm not into it is because I didn't like the character choices.
For sure,
I didn't feel like they were traits of characters that I would normally enjoy. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna pass on it.
Yeah,
it has fair. A really big, interesting world, though. I'm super curious if it winds up changing or becoming more grand, because the way that the story felt like it's gonna play out, it felt like it's something that was pretty common. You know, just these two characters. One of them's gonna make the other one open up, and then they're both gonna grow so much more. And our main character is gonna be like this fucking badass way quicker than expected because they got thrown into some shitty situations.
Yeah.
And she keeps making it out.
I kind of don't want it to be one of those stories where it's just like our character is just destined to be something amazing, you know?
I don't want it to be that either, but it had too many things where it felt like it's going to be that way to me.
I don't think it is. I think she's gonna eventually become a tanker with the help of this dude or whatever, but I don't think it's gonna be. I think she's gonna fumble. She doesn't look like she's, even though she acts like she's like ready to be like this total badass, like, yo, bro, like, you're struggling to watch the side of this fucking hull of this ship. I don't think you really understand like what it's really like to be out in this world. But again, I don't know anything about this show yet because it's not very clear what the show does. I don't even know. I don't think the show knows what it is yet. So I'm excited to watch it and see what happens, and I'll keep you posted on it throughout the weeks.
Awesome, thank you. Next up is Uzaki-Chan Wants to Hang Out by the studio Engi. It's based off of a manga, or Engi. I don't really know. Yeah, man, it's a comedy. It's a little sketch comedy show. It's also a little etch comedy show, if you know what I'm saying. A little bit
sketchy,
etchy.
no touchy.
It's a little bit etchy. And I didn't laugh.
I actually read some of this manga before the show came out. So I was like, oh, I've seen this. I know what's happening. The entire first episode, I'd already read all of that. I was like, oh, cool. That's like in the first like 2 chapters of this thing.
Yeah.
It's essentially about a girl who meets her upperclassman in college, and she's like really excited to see him there, and she sees that he's essentially a loner, and so she's like, fuck that. I'm gonna tease you, and I'm gonna hang out with you, and I'm gonna force you to do stuff with me. And yeah, she's got massive tits. Her tits are so fucking big.
What if we just kept making a joke about that? And then what if she's also like an idiot, but she's a sweetheart and she's oblivious?
Yeah.
What
and they
if
like that.
And
she likes him. Maybe it's not clear. They probably like each other eventually, kind of stuff. But it's one of those shows where like, it's because I read some of the source material. It's not like plot driven. It's not like they're going to get together kind of thing. It's not about them. It's not about that. It's about the silly jokes about her teasing him and making him feel uncomfortable, and then her having giant tits. So yeah,
now, the kind of ecchi humor that I'm into is somebody summons a powerful attack where they are able to identify everything about a person's ass just by grabbing it, and then they could access their knowledge base through this special portal where they see all of the asses of all the opponents they've ever defeated.
What show was that again?
Keijo.
Fuck, I can't remember what it was.
It's so dumb.
I knew what it was. I didn't remember like what it was called. I will say I think the show is actually, it looks good and it's animated very well, like visually. Like they've obviously thrown like money into it to make it look clean. So
it's very
It looks nice. I'm not gonna take away from it. Like, I'm not gonna say it looks like shit. It does look good, and I know that this for sure has a place in people's hearts. And I'm sure, like, if you read the manga, you'll enjoy the show. But yeah, I don't like. Again, I think I'm with you where the jokes didn't really land. Because a lot of the jokes are just like her being oblivious and her having giant boobs, and it's just, I don't think it's that funny. It's not that funny 1,000 times. Also, there's also a really weird cat with strange eyes that I noticed people really kept talking about, like in the comments. This is fucking crazy bug-eyed cat. Sierra wanted to make me clear. So when I was telling Sierra about like all these shows and stuff, I was like, yeah, I watched all of these, and these are like quick synopsis. Or like, she goes, who has the best, best bops of the season? I was like, oh, come on. She's like, you have to pick the best bops of the season. It's like, you said you'd do it. You haven't done it. You're letting people down. I was like, I don't think I'm letting anybody down. But to make it clear, I was like, fine, I'll figure out who has the best bops of the seasons. And there aren't like any really amazing bops this season. So I'm just going to give it to the girl from this show because she's got the biggest bops of the season. So like, yeah, they're not like something crazy cool to look at, but they're massive. So add it for this season, best bops, because just of sheer size. And that's, if you can make a whole show about bops, come on now. I guess they're doing something right. So she wins best pops of the season. Can we keep going, or do you want to talk more about Uzaki-Chan wants to hang out?
I just feel like you're doing a disgrace to Monster Girl Doctor.
I didn't like the bops in those seasons. I did not like them at all.
I'm just saying that there are a lot of monsters out there.
Yeah, and I wasn't feeling any of the bops. Also,
you haven't seen the whole season. It's not out.
But okay, so the bops we did see, okay, so we're going to jump the Monster Girl thing. Like, we saw the cow chicks bops, we saw the horse chicks bops, we didn't even get to see, like, the snake chicks bops. But guess what? That's an episodical show. We're not going to keep seeing those bops over and over. That's like a one and done kind of bop situation. Uzaki-Chan...
Is there a problem with that?
Yeah, Oh, absolutely. So, I'm assuming this show's going to have at least 12 episodes. 12 episodes geared towards around her giant tits. Then yeah, she's got to win, bro. She just wins. I'm sorry. If you can make a whole show it's just about your boobs, you got to win. If we're giving an award, it's going to be best boobs of the season. She's going to take them. I'm sorry. That's just my call. You can give your bops to whoever you want, but that's who I'm giving my award to.
I see where you stand.
That's where you stand. Fucking, it's not quality right now. Right now, it's quantity and size. That's what took it this season, not quality bops.
So size is a factor. So this is a personal thing going on.
In this season,
you're not looking at it objectively.
I feel like I'm being very fair about this.
I care about it.
You seem to really care about it. I know. Why are you ruining my game?
It's because you got so defensive.
You son of a bitch.
I could tell when you started talking about it. I'm like, oh, he's going to have to defend himself for talking about this. So I'm going to take the opposing side.
Yeah, you could have just been like, sure, because I know you don't fucking care. Why are you going to make me fight? You could have just been like, yeah, fine. She got the best bops this season. And we could have kept it pushing. But you're a fucking asshole and made me argue my fact. Now I feel like an asshat because I'm over here arguing for who is the best tits of the season.
Yeah, I just wanted to really see you support your point.
And I'm not even happy about it because there should be. I know. I'm not even playing this anymore.
It's fine. Just know that it's Sierra's fault for even bringing it up. So fuck you, Sierra. Is the
that's who won best bops of the season. Next season, someone hopefully will win best bops who more rightfully deserves it. That's all the Funimation stuff.
So watch all that on Funimation.
I'm watching one of them. You're watching one. Actually, we're both watching different ones, and we're for sure not watching the other two.
But we are watching the shows continuing on. Next up, Crunchyroll. Let's talk about Crunchyroll.
Okay.
You went ahead and watched a weird one for the first show, but that's all right. Ninja Collection.
It was really short. I was just like, I really got to get this going. I got to get in the mood to watch things. So it made me feel like a winner because it's like 4 minutes long or some shit like that.
Yeah. So Ninja Collection by the studios ILCA and DRAWIZ and Tia. Mm-hmm. It's an original show. Did you know that?
No shit. No. Yeah. I couldn't fucking imagine. I thought it's either that or it was based off of 4-koma manga. Like that's the kind of vibes it gave me.
Oh man, I had no idea what the fuck it was.
So it's very short. It's like that kind of stop motion style animation we saw with kind of not Junji Ito. It's the other horror one. What was the other one? Because Junji Ito was at least animated, right, all the way.
Yeah.
Come on, use that big brain of yours. Mm-hmm. It's the one with the book. It was a scary book one.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not that good. It's about this kid that goes to school and he starts seeing some smoke. And like it starts enveloping his classmates, and then a ninja comes and fucking kills them all. And then he goes to see that ninja later, and he's got smoke out of him. I'm like, whoa, I don't know what this was, but I don't fucking care. I don't think it's for me. I thought that the outro song was kind of fun. That's a positive, but I'm for sure not gonna watch it.
I don't recommend anybody watches it. It was such like it's just an in between shows weird ass time. It was weird.
Yeah, not that good. I mean, if you want to watch it to see how bad it is, go for it. It's only 4 minutes. You know, that's all it takes. Just 4 minutes of your life and never getting back.
It was weird to me that it was like, it's called Ninja Collection, and then the first episode takes place in a classroom, like right away. I'm just like, okay, the show's trying to do a lot. It has 5 minutes, but it's also like really lazy animation.
Yeah, Ninja Boy. I don't know, man. If you're watching Ninja Collection, let us know if it gets any better, because we're not going to watch it.
I am not. Next up, Mr. Love Queen's Choice by the studio MAPPA. It's based off of a video game that people love. And I could totally see this is based off of a video game. Like, yeah, absolutely.
I can see it's based off a video game now that you told me it's based off a video game. I can see like the correlation. But before that, I was just like, what is this? And I would love for you to talk about it, like give it a quick summary, because I'm still confused as to what it is, kind of. Like, I was like, my first thing I wrote down is like, I don't know. I'm something about a mystery.
None of the plot. Okay, first off, you guys, I went into this with zero idea about what the plot was, and I came out with zero idea what the plot is. So we're not going to address that. All we're going to address is this is a dating sim. This is a game where you play as a girl who's trying to date a dude, and you don't know what dude to date, but the dudes are introducing themselves to you slowly. So we get like a few dudes in the first episode, and then we quickly find out, oh, these dudes has got powers. This man can like stop time and save this girl, and he's done it before. This man could like fly or whatever. This man teleports. Like, everyone has weird shit going on.
Oh, dude, you're killing it. Honestly, like my notes just say 4 hot boys. Some people have powers. Like, I was like, I don't know what's going on.
And literally all I wrote for this, because like it was a very like, if you are into these kinds of shows and games, this seems like my kind of thing. Like, if I was into it, this is the one that I would play. This is the one that I would watch. But yeah, all my notes for it are dating sim with magic men. That's it. It was that memorable. We watched all these shows. It's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I watched the first episode of this, and the only episode I've watched. It looks really good. I mean, we all know how fucking good this studio is. They've made tons of good shit out there. It's worth watching if you're into some like fun little I don't even know if it's rom-com, but it's like
here's
rom action, but definitely heavy rom. And I don't know. I'm gonna say it's shoujo. Shoujo show.
Yeah,
let's say that.
It did feel like it was like, oh, cool. Which guy is the girl going to end up with? Is it going to be the idol, the businessman, the doctor, and then the last guy? I don't even fucking know. Like, it's not for me because I don't care. Idol. I picked the idol. I like the idol.
Okay, good call, man. Good call. So, anyways, pretty solid if you're into that genre. Next up, Rent a Girlfriend from the studio TMS Entertainment. It's based off of a manga, and this is the show that surprised me most this season. I am excited to keep watching it. It's kind of trashy, and I like it.
I have watched 2 episodes of it, and I was going to watch a third, but then I had to do the podcast with you. So
I watched a few of them, and yeah, I'm super stoked. This show's good. It's got the Peggies doing either the intro or the outro, I can't remember, and the Peggies always makes killer fucking songs. This show is your typical romance anime of the season. Done really good. They got some love triangle stuff going on. They're not going super hard on the ecchi, which surprised the hell out of me. This is a super solid show. It feels genuine. It's this dude that's in college. He just broke up with his girlfriend recently. He's having a hard time. And in Japan, they have these rental services for people. You could, like, some people
rent a sister.
Yeah, like a sister, like your family or whatever. You can like go and hang out with like a mom and a dad, and they'll pretend like you're they're your parents. And it's not like anything that's supposed to be in that realm of like it's a fetish, it's some kind of a weird seedy thing. This is like people that are lacking that kind of relationship in their life are able to get what they want out of that relationship for a short period of time. And it's I don't know if wholesome is the right thing, but there are no ill intentions with it.
It's not like it's not a creepy, sexy thing. Yeah. It's
yeah.
at least it's not supposed to be a creepy, sexy thing. It is like a, hey, I would like a role model, or I'm missing this in my life. Let me rent it for a bit. That way I have it. Kind of like a therapy. There's like people who rent hugs. People like, give hugs, whatever. And I'm just like, here in the States, and I go, that's a little weird, right? So when someone goes like, I'm going to go somewhere and have someone pretend that they're my father, I was like, I feel like that's a little more understanding, especially maybe if your father passed away or you have a bad relationship with your father, it would make sense. So
there's just, it's something that makes a lot of sense, but it's also a weird kind of cultural taboo thing because it is this kind of gray area, if you will. Anyways, the show looks fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Its style's great. All the characters look great. They changed their outfits a lot, which is a huge plus to me. I love when characters aren't just stuck in their same set of clothes the entire show.
Except for our main character, he's worn the same like striped pants twice. I'm like, yo, bro. But then I'm like, you are probably a broke college student.
That's kind of the point of him. That's what I like about this, is that these characters are all so like unique and vibrant and have these big personalities. Even smaller characters do. And so he rents this girlfriend and winds up kind of feeling like, actually, maybe we did have a connection. And then she's very clear, like, yo, we don't have a fucking connection, bro. And there winds up being this weird, like, he's into her and whatever. And they wind up going on a second date and he's trying to convince her of something. And then they get wrapped into this whole thing with his grandma is apparently suddenly sick and in the hospital. And he's like, what the fuck? And has to go and visit her. And then she's made friends with everyone there because she comes like to the hospital every once in a while. So they all know each other, the more like inpatient people. Turns out the rent-a-girlfriend's grandma is also there. So they have to pretend to actually be dating each other. And the whole situation starts getting out of hand very fast. His friends wind up finding out that he has a girlfriend. His ex finds out he has a girlfriend. And it's just getting so messy what's going on. So it's fun to see their different interactions. The characters are very strong. They're really well written characters. And that's really the thing that keeps pushing this, because our main character sucks. Like, let's just fucking face it. He's just kind of a shitty kid, and he needs a little bit of like, he needs to get his act together.
Yeah, but a lot of his default like actions are just like, oh my god, just be the world's biggest puss. Like, like someone's calling you out on your shit, and he just kind of doesn't stick up for himself, and then he just puts himself in even worse situations. As opposed to telling the truth, he just continues to lie. So it's just like, you're literally hurting yourself. Like when he runs, obviously him like running into his grandma being sick, like she understood and she was more like cool with pretending that they were dating.
Yeah, because they were kind of in a weird tight situation there.
Yeah, on a very awkward situation where like you're with this dude and her sick grandma, you're gonna be like, no, he rented me as a girlfriend. That'd be super weird. It's easier to lie. But later on, we see him run into his friends, and he's just like, this is my girlfriend. It's like, why would you say that? That is not your girlfriend. And then she continues the facade. So it is a lot of him just being a total dumbass and just like not being cool. She seems to be very like level-headed for all this, because I was like,
oh, she's being real, like way better than okay about it. So I'm really interested in seeing what her situation is, because what we found out so far is that she is his next door neighbor, which is a crazy development. She doesn't look anything like how she goes on these dates in real life. She instead looks like this like just a quiet, mousy library girl, So we get to see that as well, and we know that she has like her genuine real personality and her fake work personality, and we don't get to see a whole lot of that genuine real personality aside from her being mad at him for being a shitty dude.
Yeah, and she keeps saying, she really needs the money from this job. Like she's like, so I feel like there might be something there. I
feel like it could get emotional. I feel like the show could be really good and really build on itself and do some cool stuff. Yeah, really good. So I do recommend people check out Rent a Girlfriend, because it surprised the hell out of me, dude.
Yeah, no, this was a show where it's like, I don't know, just off name title, by itself. I'm like, this probably is going to be a little, dirty or whatever.
And you know what? They do bring up sex, and they bring up that like whole topic of being like super horny and wanting that relationship.
Or being a virgin or jacking off and stuff like that. But then the way I kind of like dismiss it, it's just like, yeah, but they're not like middle school kids or high school kids.
This feels a little bit more like they're college kids ragging on their friends and stuff.
They're college age, they're adults, so they're like, they drink beer, they talk about sex, which is the normal thing. So yes, I mean, and like I said, there is ecchi moments and stuff, but it's not like it's ecchi and not just for the sake of being ecchi. Like there's story elements to it or whatever. It's like him fantasizing about something horrible happening, like someone hooking up with his ex-girlfriend. It's just like, oh, dude, that wasn't necessary, but I understand why you did it, because like, you know, ideas can go through someone's mind like that. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too. Visually, it's great. I'm a huge fan of the fact that they changed their clothes and stuff, because it's like it makes them feel more real. When we were watching the show, me and Cera watched episode 2. Sierra's like kind of goes, oh, I cannot believe she came over and like continued the lie, you know, like, because at that point the grandma had kind of busted them out and be like, oh, she broke up with you, essentially giving him an out. And I was like, yeah, Sierra, I mean, obviously she shouldn't have done that, but if she didn't do that, we wouldn't have a show. Like that would have been.
Also, there are other drives behind it that we don't necessarily know. Like,
yeah,
she's telling him one thing, and us as the viewers know that she has other stuff going on, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So we know that there could be a different reason that things are happening the way that they are. Yeah, I'm really interested. This is a fun show.
Yeah, I like it too. I'm surprised, and I'm going to keep watching it. So, good show.
Sweet. Next up, Umayon, made by the studio W-Toon Studio, as well as the studio DMM.futureworks. This is based off of a manga, and it's actually a spin-off, a chibi spin-off of whatever, Umapri, like, racy horse girls. That's what I'm going to call it. Pretty Derby. Pretty fucking Derby, baby. That's what
you nailed it.
Yeah, so if you liked that show and you like chibi shows, go ahead and watch this. We checked it out, so you guys don't have to. And that's all it is.
I'm gonna say, all I have to say is that it wasn't that bad. Like,
it was fine.
Like the chibi style looked good, the animation was clean, the jokes were simple, quick, punchy, stuff like that. But I'm not a huge chibi fan, so like, why would I like make myself watch this? Especially if it's the spin-off of a show that I didn't even really like. So
that's the
what's
thing.
The
I feel
point,
like this is a great spin-off chibi series when there are so many other chibi series and whatnot that just don't quite land. I feel like this is definitely that show's Isekai Quartet, you know? It's that level, yeah.
I guess for people who don't know what chibi is, it's just an art style. It's small, it's miniature, it's got like big eyes kind of thing. I feel like a lot of people have seen it, and people have mistaken chibi for just being all anime. And I know I've had that argument before. People are just like, and they'll show you because you see like fucking inspirational quotes or like super cute quotes on Facebook all the time of like chibi characters holding little hearts and shit like that. And people go like, this is anime. It's like, no, that's a part of anime. It's there.
But that's not what it is exactly.
Yeah. So it is just an art style of anime that exists. And yeah, this was fine. I don't think, unless you watch the Derby show, I don't know why you'd be watching this show unless you're just super into chibi. It was okay though, but I'm not going to watch it.
Yeah.
It's super short though.
You know, it was interesting watching it too, as somebody who doesn't know much about the show past the first episode. Essentially, this whole plot line of the first 3-minute episode was they're taking a test to see who does the best and finishes the test the fastest.
Yeah.
And that's it. They're just like, let's turn it into a race as well, because we like racing. So they see who does it the fastest. It's just a whole thing. Yeah. Anyways, next up, let's talk about Monster Girl Doctor, made by the studio Arvo Animation, based off of a light novel.
Yeah. So it's about a dude who's a doctor. He's a human doctor who treats monsters in this like monster like mythical world. So like we got like, you know, centaurs, and we've got minotaurs, and we've got like snake ladies and harpies and cat ladies, and he's a good doctor. Man. Yeah, he's a good doctor. It is ecchi. You know, there's points where he's just like, the show starts with him just grabbing the tits of this like cow lady, and I'm just like, what's going on here? What's happening?
She needs to be milked, man. She's a cow.
Yeah. And then he's like, he's done touching her boobs, and she's just like, after she's been moaning, you know, sexually, and he's just like, sorry, it's part of the procedure. She rubs her ears and is like, it's also procedure. He's like, hey, by the way, you're pregnant. Congratulations. Everybody knows that when you're pregnant with a minotaur, your tits start to hurt and your ears start to hurt. And then like a giant minotaur husband comes in and it's just like, oh my God, I'm so fucking happy. And I was like, dude, that's a big husband right there. I did like that he had little like fairy or pixie things like sanitizing stuff. I was like, that's pretty fun. It's a nice touch. But yeah, the show, the first episode, at least that's all the one I watched. He goes to like an arena and he helps this centaur get her groove back. Essentially, she's like losing a bunch of matches. Turns out she needs horseshoes. He puts horseshoes on that bitch, and then it's just like another opportunity for her to be like, my fucking horse feet are very sensitive. So he's like cleaning them out and grinding them down and stuff. And she's like moaning and groaning and they're all holding her there. And it gets an even higher level when like the snake lady comes, which is his like assistant, wraps her around with her giant snake coil and then shoves her fucking the tip of her tail in her mouth, kind of like a gag. And I'm like, okay, this is for sure ecchi. And it's for sure based off a light novel. And I for sure get what it is. It's not like, I didn't think it was like horrible, but I don't think I'd like the show. I don't think I'm going to continue to watch it. I feel like it's just going to be a lot of this. It's going to be like another episode of him curing a different type of creature of some sort of ailment. And then there being opportunities for them to moan provocatively and for his snake apprentice to be like upset with him because she obviously has a thing for him, but he's just all about curing the people.
Can you blame him?
Nah, man, he's got the goods, especially when you got such a sweet job where all you gotta do is touch tits and you go, yup, you're pregnant. Because that's how it works back, in that world or whatever.
Yeah, man. Because it's not modern times by any means. It's some weird, like, medieval-ish looking, whatever. Anyways, Peter Grill in the Philosopher's Time. Is that the correct? Yeah, that's what it's called. It's made by the studio WolfsBane, and it's based off of a manga, and... Well, when you have a 12-minute long show, and you want to make sure people keep watching, you gotta have a bunch of strong women trying to get the hero's sperm.
Is it 12 minutes? I didn't realize it was that short.
It's a 12er, dude. It's a 12-minute. Yeah,
that makes sense, dude. It's about a guy that's like the champion of like the humans or whatever. He fights monsters, but it's not even about that. All that shit's already happened, and what it is he just wants to get engaged and be married to the love of his life, who's super innocent. But all these other women around him just want to fuck him and have his kids. And I was like, okay, cool. So it's like it's a comedy, right? It's supposed to be funny. And there's some funny bits. I found myself laughing at points.
This was like way funnier than Uzaki or Superheroes or Monster Girl.
And I think a lot of the funny elements was just a lot of like the insane words that were being spoken. Like the dialogue was just like, I cannot believe she said like, pocket spunk or some shit like that, like wild stuff like that.
Yeah, it was just like very over the top, stupid, sexual,
and then
goofiness.
It ends with the him being stuck in his hotel room or his inn room with like two ogre girls, right? Like that are his friends that want to have sex with him, who are sisters, and he's just like kicks them out. And they're making a scene, so he brings them back in. He's just like, no, look, I'm in love with this girl. There's no way to ever have sex with you guys. Like, I'm so into this chick. And the girl gets naked, and then he ends up fucking the both of them. And he wakes up the next day being like, what did I do?
Oh, golly, geez.
I can't believe I cheated on my fiance. And then his fiance's knocking on the door. So I feel like this show is probably just going to be a bunch of like him cheating on his fiance with other people. You know what? It was... I remembered it at least, and like I laughed at points. I will say that it for some reason gave me like Gintama vibes. Like I was like, oh, this kind of reminds me of Gintama, just because it's like there's this massive world and there's a lot of shit going on, but it's not about the hero doing a great journey or whatever. It's just like the side cool. It's like the back end story kind of stuff. So it's like this guy trained and became a champion. It's none of that part. It's just the part where people want to fuck him. And so, like, for some reason, it just kind of reminded me a lot of Gintama, where he's like, he just needs to throw out the garbage or some shit like that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'm going to watch this. I will say there's not a lot of stuff I'm watching this season for sure. When I was telling Cera about the rundown of like the stuff that I saw, she laughed a lot about Peter Girl, and then I even had to go show her the bit where the girl says spunk for some reason, because I knew it was something absurd, because I couldn't remember what it was, and she really laughed. So I might end up watching this if she wants to watch it with me, just to be a supportive husband. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to watch it, Trip, but I might. I might also not, because it's not that great. It's okay.
Yeah, for sure not for me, which is too bad, because I would like to watch more shows this season. But anyways, a show that definitely is for me is the Misfit of Demon King Academy, made by the studio Silverlink. It's based off of a light novel, and I did not expect to like this at all. And after the first episode, I was like, all right, let's keep rolling. Let's keep going.
I didn't expect... Yeah, I didn't expect to enjoy this as much as I did. Just because I felt like I knew for some reason what I was going to watch, right? I was like, this is kind of like all those other dumb shows, like the fucking, like how to summon a demon lord kind of stuff, or like, or the one where it's just like a human gets adopted by the demon king kind of thing, like I thought it was gonna be something like that, and now it was like it was like very violent. There was a lot of action in it. The main character was super strong and stuff, and I was like, I'm actually really enjoying this. But I don't know if I'm sold on like watching it completely because I don't know. I might end up watching it just by default, just because there's not other stuff to watch. But I for sure enjoyed it, and I think it looks really good. The animation looks great. The character designs look really good. So yeah, there's a lot of positives in the show for sure.
Yeah, I was having a fun time with the first episode. We get to see a fight where essentially this dude's going to magic demon school, and some guy's being a punk ass about him being from who knows where. And he essentially says, yeah, I'm the Demon King. And he's like, fuck you, no you're not. And then they fight. And it's very clear that, oh shit, our main character is for sure the Demon King.
Yeah, super strong.
And nobody believes him. And that's just an ongoing thing of them being like, how the fuck are you resisting my magic? And he's like, I'm the Demon King. But the whole gag behind stuff, like, this is also a comedy. He's like a month old at this point, but he's a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
He, back in time, like thousands of years ago, he was with his bros, except they were good guys and he was bad, but he was actually being good. It's a whole thing. Demons were fighting angels and whatnot. And then his friend has to kill him, essentially, and they are also enemies. And then he winds up saying, like, thank you so much for this. Like, I won't forget this. In thousands of years when we're reincarnated, we will find each other again, and this time we're going to be on the same side. And that's what happens, except his bro, instead of it being his bro, is this chick. So now there's this whole romantic thing going on, and she also has like this golem half-sister maybe, and then there's some betrayal, and the story's going in weird directions. And it's pretty fun, it's pretty over the top, the fights are really cool, the magic's tight. I'm having a great time. I'm definitely going to keep watching this show.
Yeah, no, I feel it, especially with the season like this. This show was at the funny and at the same time like entertaining when it came to seeing action. So it was like a great combination of the both of them. It was like cool. There's like not a lot of shows this season that I feel either successfully accomplished the fact of being funny or just having an action pack. So if this is able to do both of them, but cool, might as well check it out.
Yeah, because this is cool demon shit, but it's also pretty people demon shit.
Yeah,
which is like not always my jam.
Yeah, it's not like scary demon shit, which I'm not a big fan of scary demon shit, and I know you're about it. So it's like this is like demon shit, but like with like makeup on it. I'm like, okay, cool, I can watch this. This is the devil, yeah, hail Satan.
And I'm like, yeah, I want this, but I also want there to be really gritty, gross, spiky, dark demon shit. I don't know. Anyways, it's a great time. On to one of the worst times.
Oh, okay.
Gibiate, made by the studios Launch, but it's like L-A Unch Box and Studio L.
I would like to say though, this is I'm pretty sure a Crunchyroll original.
Oh, this is for sure a Crunchyroll original.
Yeah.
So you don't have to watch it.
What
do you want to say about it? I don't think people should watch it. I think that this is, if you go back and listen to the Anime Expo episode, you will hear me saying, you know, the intro and the outro were like heavily emphasized, and then when they showed the animation, it was garbage. And then I watched this show and I felt like, yep, I feel insanely validated.
It reminds me of like a kind of better looking version of Kagestar of the Insect Cage. But still not in a way like I actually want to watch this.
So there's this infection that's making people turn into monsters, as you know. That happens. And then a girl wishes to create a vaccination. She wants a vaccine for everything. So some samurai get teleported to...
Hey, hold on. They don't get teleported. They get spirited away, okay? That's the name of the first episode.
Spirited away to current times, which is like post-apocalypse demon people thing.
It's 2030, I think, or something like that. It's like not even that far away.
No, it's, whatever. If suddenly now everyone starts turning into monsters, and then we jump to this show, anyways, these samurai have like samurai magic. Man, the show's dumb. it does the same thing that so many Netflix shows do, where they have this idea and this world in mind, and they want to do stuff with it, but they want to do too much. So they do too much at once, and I just don't care.
But our main character is a banished bad boy, and he's not actually a bad boy. He was just trying to do what his fucking boss told him to do. God, and there's a ninja. One's a samurai, one's a ninja. God, it's got everything, Trip. You got to give it some credit. It's an amazing show.
Yeah, I guess I really do have to give it some credit.
No,
You're
man,
right.
it's pretty bad. And they did fucking CG bugs and stuff, like the monsters. It's just like, God, it's just like, you already don't have the best 2D animation. Why would you then throw in really shitty 3D animation?
Guys, it was really bad.
Yeah, it's not worth watching. Actually, it is. It's worth watching if you want to have a bad time. Check it out. Let us know we're wrong, because we might be wrong. But
this is Netflix quality TV show, like straight to Netflix. Nobody's ever heard of it. Suddenly you're watching Cagaster of the Insect Cage, and you're like, why? Yeah. What's happening? Fuck this.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's a bummer it wasn't better, because I was hoping it'd be good, but it wasn't. So, bum.
True that. And that's pretty much the end of it. We said we aren't going to talk about God of High School because we did a whole episode on it, and definitely said that we're going to continue watching it. You should go check out that episode where we have Miles Thomas from Crunchyroll. Super cool guy. He runs the social media and stuff. And yeah, God of High School is currently airing this season. It's my favorite show of the season. Not by far, because I'm really interested in Rent a Girlfriend. I really liked it. It was really good.
It's surprising how good it is, yeah.
But they're totally different shows. Like God of High School is a comedy action show, and Rent a Girlfriend is a lot more drama focused. Like it's a light drama comedy. Like both of them, both drama and comedy are light. Anyways,
both of them, yeah.
My takeaway from everything is watch Rent a Girlfriend, or at least check it out. Watch God of High School, because that show's fucking killing it. And then those are the only ones you have to watch, man.
Yeah, I think those two. I feel like those two are the must watch.
Yeah, Funimation is like, if you have Funimation, maybe check out Lapis, Relights, and Deca-dence.
Yeah, those are shows that we both liked for different reasons.
Yeah.
But I for sure saw merits in the show. The Trip that liked. And yeah, besides that, it's a real fucking snooze fest out here. There's other shows from last season that are continuing, like the Digimon show that we're just continue to watch, and there's the fucking Wacky Racer show that I can't remember the name of the actual show.
Ranmon, you'll remember eventually.
So there's for sure stuff going on, and I think just because like it's super light, I might even pick up season 2 of Fire Force just because why not? I don't know. But yeah, it's. I'm gonna blame COVID. I'm like just like a lot of things why it took so long to get my fucking letters in the mail, just like everything. I'm gonna say that's the reason things aren't popping off as much as it used to. And also, like you said, some things are sequels. Like I'm pretty sure people are fucking gonna be loving ReZero season 2, but that's not us because we didn't even watch season 1. So yeah, from all the OG stuff that's new, or like this spin-off stuff, whatever. It's just There's only a couple things that like are for sure there that I'm like super into. And yeah, everything else is kind of a wasteland, teenage wasteland.
True that. Well, thank you guys for listening to us. Next week, we're going to be talking about the new Goblin Slayer movie, which is coming to Crunchyroll yesterday. Yeah.
From when this aired,
yeah. Tuesday. Anyways, it's been a lot of fun watching all these shows because we didn't have to watch a ton of them this time, but I would have liked to come away with more shows that I'm excited for this season. We fixed our audio issue on Twitch. Turns out that for some reason my audio, it was showing that it's like constantly peaking, and it still is showing that like I'm constantly peaking. So when I had it fixed before, I was apparently very, very quiet, and a lot of people couldn't hear me very well. So I don't want you guys to worry about that anymore.
Okay.
So I fixed that. And the audio's all good on Twitch again, you guys, because I don't know, fucking audio shit's weird. Anyways, yeah. Thank you so much for letting me know. Like the guy who reached out was like, it's been this way for a while. I'm like, fuck. Shit. Okay.
Okay. Well, if you like our theme song, check out Tom Master on SoundCloud and YouTube. Trip, where can we find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instant Ramen Podcast. If you want to tweet at us, tweet at Instant Ramen Pod. And it's true. And if you want to go ahead and send us an email, instantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for listening. Next week, like I said, we're talking about Goblin Slayer. And if you want to watch us talk about stuff as it's happening, you could go to twitch.tv/Crispather. And we are talking about whatever. It's okay, fun. So, I like it.
So this is back from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.